Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums alongside the co-captain for this episode from Grant's Rock Warehouse. Grant Arthur is in the house once again. What's happening, man?
Hey, great to be here. This is going to be fun talk, Pete.
It is. Also from the Contrarians. I do want to
Oh,
mention.
yes, we can't forget the Contrarians, for
Can't
God's
forget the
sakes.
contrarian. We can't be contrarian and forget the Contrarians, right?
Yes,
So
true.
that's a show that a lot of people here on the channel and Sea of Tranquility also watch. It's almost kind of like the sister channel, right? In weird ways, you know.
Well, there's a lot of these channels that are all interrelated because I wouldn't have my channel if it wasn't for your channel and for you having Martin on the channel. It's all connected
Yeah.
and all these offshoots. It's amazing. You're like a breeding ground for channels on YouTube. So I bow to you.
I never meant to do that. Honestly, I just wanted to do my own
But that
thing.
is true. That's why I got all involved, because the thing on Friday with you and Martin always hit it out of the park. And I went, my God, that is the best show on YouTube. You and Martin together, it's like magic. So, but that's how I got drawn in. So, but
Well,
that's another thing. That's a whole other thing.
it's okay to be influential, I guess. I am
Yeah, it's
honored,
good.
I guess. So yeah. So today, as we've announced, Night Ranger is the topic of the day, is the band of the day. We've got 13 albums here for this band that I guess best can be described as hard rock meets pop. I don't think they were ever a metal band to me. They weren't a hair metal band. I know a lot of people hate that tag, but it's out there. To me, this was always a really great hard rock band who knew how to embrace pop hooks, and they could shred on the guitars, right? That's what they are. They're a really cool band. I've liked them since day one. They've got 13 studio albums. We're going to rank them in the order of preference, and each turn we're each going to give our two picks at a time. So Grant's going to kick us off with his number 13, number 12. Before we start, and we were just talking about it before we started taping, this was really difficult.
Yeah, because
the early part of the catalog is classic, but you've got some weirdness in the middle, and then a lot of really strong albums at the end. For some, maybe not for everybody.
this is the opposite story of Sly and the Family Stone. If anybody saw Pete, our ranking on Sly and the Family Stone, Sly and the Family Stone was a bell curve. They started out weak. There's not really a bad Sly album. Everybody check that video down the link, because you need to see it. It'll change your life. But anyway, they were a bell curve. They started out slow, got really great, and then came back down. Night Ranger, unfortunately, is the opposite. It's an inverted bell. Started out strong. In the middle, they're kind of lost their, well, I don't know. I don't think they really put out a bad record. A lot of records sound the same.
Yeah.
A lot of these records you could jumble up, you could mix them up in a jar, pull one out, and you could slap it on another record. The thing that Night Ranger did well is that I can't tell another band that mixed pop and hard rock better than Night Ranger.
Yeah.
Throw me anybody in the chat, throw me some. I can't come up with anything. If you would have tweaked that first album a bit more, you could have went power pop. They're too heavy for power pop, but they had it. They had the hooks, they had the songs. Okay, but we're going to get to it. I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah, oh yeah. We're going to talk about a lot of this stuff today.
I get all excited when we do these things, but this was an exercise that was very hard, very hard. It took me 2 weeks, Pete, to get this together.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it right, but it could change. So I might even change my ranking today. But let me start out, since I've done my preamble to the Constitution. My number 13. Now, I'm going to go off feeding off Mojo. Now, don't get me wrong. I like this record. The problem is the band really doesn't consider this a Night Ranger record. We've got no Jack Blades. You've got no Alan Fitzgerald, no Jeff Watson. You've got Gary Moon, who had played on a Brad Gillis solo album, Alligator. I don't know what year that came from, but he was in various bands. I think Gary Moon's top notch. I think this band kicks butt. I like the songs. I like the production. But is it a Night Ranger album? The band doesn't think so. The cover doesn't look like it. It might not be, because look what they did to the logo. They squished it. Bastards. But anyway, is it a Night Ranger logo? A band? Well, hell, is it the Night Ranger logo? Is this a Night Ranger album? I don't know. I would rank this higher, but I think it's an outlier. We did an outlier show on the Contrarians last night, and Tim Derling threw this up. It's an outlier album.
It is.
It will always be. They don't want to look at it. So I'm going with number 13. In my real ranking, I would rate it much higher. So that's my 13. My number 12. I better get my notes up for this one because this is going to be something else. Um, I don't think this is a bad record, to be quite honest. I'm going to go with Hole in the Sun for 2007. If I correct me, Pete, if I'm wrong, but isn't this the first offering for Frontiers? They did what? How many? They're still on Frontiers.
They're still on Frontiers. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
On Frontiers.
I had high hopes for this. And in fact, until I did a ranking and compared all these together, I couldn't believe this came out on 12. But this is a 9-year break from 7 that came out years before. This record, I'm going to go on record that this sounds more like Night Ranger than this does. Why? I don't know. The drums sound like are horrible on this thing. It's bombastic. We've got Michael Lardy on keyboards. We don't have Alan's gone by this point. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what Alan's up to, but he's gone. Tell Your Vision, the opening track sounds like Stone Temple Pilots, for God's sakes. What are we doing, Night Ranger? They're so good, but this album I wouldn't recommend. It just doesn't hold up. There's also drum machines on this, and we're talking 2007, ladies and gentlemen. Why are we doing drum machines? I love Night Ranger, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be harsh, but this is not good Night Ranger. All the other ones I probably could recommend. Let me throw out another track. You're Gonna Hear Me, gang vocals.
Yeah.
2007, gang vocals, really? It's not 1987. The guitars are very loud. In fact, this whole album seems very loud to me, and it drives me nuts. There are no hooks. There are no hooks on this record. And you think after a 9-year break, Pete, that they would have songs cataloged. You would think, right? No, there's no songs here. And now since Alan Fitzgerald's gone, it makes me think, how much influence did Alan Fitzgerald have? Because he left and everything went to hell, ladies and gentlemen.
You have to wonder.
I'm probably making it sound worse than it is, but it deserves to be in, feeding the mojo deserves to be higher. So there you go.
Don't put it away. That's my number 13.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. Well, so far we're doing pretty good.
I agree with you 100%. I think it doesn't quite sound like a Night Ranger album. It's heavy. It's bombastic, but it's not memorable.
No.
I wrote down in my notes that there's at least 3 songs on this album where it sounds like they are trying to sound like Extreme, the band Extreme. I don't want Night Ranger to sound like Extreme. The gang vocals, the way the choruses are set up. I think this is kind of a mess. I think the ballads aren't very good. And a lot of it sounds like uninspired indie rock. It's just, it doesn't, it's the last album with Jeff Watson. I don't think he wanted to be there, to be quite frank. It's just, and you mentioned Stone Temple Pilots. It has this kind of like mid-90s alternative rock metal type thing going on.
It's late to the game.
Yeah.
It's
kind of a mess. It's almost like they were away for so long. They're like, all right, what should we do? I don't know. Let's just throw some things up in the air. Yeah. To me, this is probably the only album in the discography that I really don't care for. At least most of the others have. Yeah, it's just
looks like they got burned up by the sun. I'm not sure. Maybe that's a black hole. Maybe they got sucked in. They obviously did. Yeah. But maybe they're trying to find themselves. But I would have thought
I think they don't want to show their faces for a reason, right? Yeah.
They're not on the back either. So there they blew up.
Oh, they're gone.
I know. I'm just poking fun. Don't get in the comments and burn. I don't want anybody burn crossing my yard or try to burn my house down. I know
there's going to be people who are going to be like, this, it's one of their best albums. I guarantee you that. And that's fine. If you think so, that's fine.
And I was talking to you, Pete, before we started, there are people I talked to, they're all over with this catalog.
Yeah.
A lot of people can agree on the top 3, but everything else after that, it's
up for grabs. Yeah.
Up for grabs. But this was a great exercise. So what's your,
my number 12.
Number 12.
ATBPO, otherwise known as And the Band Played On from 2020.
Okay. Oh my, really?
13th album, yeah. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So this came out during the pandemic, obviously, and I had high hopes for this because all the albums, those couple albums that came out before this, I really like a lot, as we'll see. There's something about this album that doesn't sit well with me. They recorded this in Nashville. I think half the guys are living in Nashville. To me, and I'm not the only one who hears this because I've spoken to plenty of other people who hear it. Some people insist not, but a lot of people do. There is a kind of like country pop twang on a lot of these songs, this whole Nashville thing that I don't dislike in general. I just don't want Night Ranger to sound like that. Not the whole album is like that. Like Coming
Mhm.
for You is a high energy opener. I like that a lot. But Bring It All Home, to me, just it has this like kind of like modern bro country thing going on. It's twangy. The chorus sounds like a country chorus. Yeah, there's
Mhm.
lots of guitars on this album. It's rocking in spots, but I don't know. Breakout is really good. The songs that are good, I really like. Breakout kicks ass. Jack Blade sounds really good. Cold as December is really good. Monkey is a blazer. The rest of the album for me, meh, it's okay. I honestly, I think to me, this is a big step down from the couple that came before, which I think are really, really good. So yeah, that's my number 12. Not terrible. I don't know how much I'm ever going to reach for this going forward, though.
Well, I did rank it higher, but that's okay. You're probably gonna. I don't know. I know people are gonna burn my house down today, but that's okay. I got insurance. Um. Yeah, I can see exactly where you're coming from. I've been listening to these, and they have that country tinge.
It's
I just kind of
twangy.
looked at it like, well, they've progressed. They've gotten older. They're mellowing out a bit more, but they really haven't mellowed out very much.
No.
Um, Interesting. Okay, well, we'll see where we all line up. Okay, my number 11. Oh God, I don't know if people are gonna. You might hate me. My number 11 is Man in Motion from 1988. Now, I like I like the pop Night Ranger. There's a perfect blend of it. This is not it. This is where the record company really, well, they actually got involved before. This is Night Ranger scrambling, trying to keep they've been playing stadiums,
Yeah.
they're making money, they're filling out stadium. They're scrambling. This is pop. This is the drums on this thing are absolutely hideous. In fact, I'm not crazy about the production at all. Is this an improvement over the keyboard heavy Big Live? Big Live, people always go, oh my God, the keys are so heavy. There's a lot of keys. There's less keyboards here, and the guitars have turned up a bit more, especially on the opening track, but it's a very light album. I think the record company, I don't know. Did the record company put the kibosh on the rock? This is the band that said, I mean, after all, we can still rock in America. They're not rocking here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like this record. It's very poppy. It's too poppy for me. That's not what I want
Well,
Night
it's
Ranger to do.
1988, so ballads and power ballads and things like that are doing big business.
I
So
like
not
it.
surprising.
Well, okay, let me look at a couple tracks. Man in Motion. Now, I like Kelly's vocals. Anytime he sings a song, I like him better than Jack Blades. No offense. Jack's fine. I think Jack Blades works best with Tommy Shaw, their vocal blend. But anytime Kelly is singing, let's go. The guy can sing a ballad, he can sing a rocker, he's got a great voice. But Man in Motion, I think's a decent song, but it's more folky than rock to me. It's not folk, ladies and gentlemen, but I don't know. You've got, I don't know. It's decent. And Kelly can save a song pretty much. Don't Start Thinking, I'm Alone Tonight is slick. Those Yamaha DX7 keyboards, the boy baby, those are coming in. Those are dating this track, but I think it's one of the better songs. Restless Kind's another ballad. I mean, it's okay. Rock by You Hard. Let's see. Can't even see my notes. I think the first side of the record is okay. The second half is very, very unremarkable. Was this a contract, something to fill their contract? I don't know.
It's
But
a
the
band, it's
MCA
a
era
band
is
splintering apart. If you watch a show I did with Martin yesterday, this is basically the wheels are falling off.
it is.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. But the MCA era is over. They break up. Jack goes to damn Yankees, and the story, well, they break up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank God we have damn Yankees and those Shaw Blades records. I love those. So that's a whole other show.
Yes.
But this is my number 11.
Cool.
All right, my number 10. We're going to go right. We're going to keep going, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go with, let me get my prop, Big Life from 1987. Some people like this, but this is like the heart thing. This is like when the Cheap Trick thing, when the record company starts poking their finger and start dictating the band and say, hey, we need another Sister Christian. We need another hit. Like I said, they're playing stadiums. They need to keep that momentum going. We need to bring in the money. Let's make it a little bit lighter. Let's make it more commercial. The only thing I can say is what happened to Night Ranger on this? We have a big opening guitar track with big life. We have bigger drums. We've got that Yamaha DX7. God, I hate that. The guitars are there, but something is amiss. It was produced by the band for the most part. And the record company, like I said, got in there and pushed it. They want another Sister Christian. I don't know. This is probably the most keyboard-oriented album in the whole catalog. And Alan Fitzgerald, as good as he is, I'm good. The band as musicians sound great. The guitars are blaring, the keyboards, it's all fine. But where are the hooks? Where are the hooks on Midnight Madness? Where are the hooks on the first record, for crying out loud? The other thing that's also jumping the shark here, if I can use that term, is that they did a soundtrack and a single for the Michael J. Fox movie, The Secret of My Success. Okay, that's fine. Good. You got to make money. But to be quite honest, when I listen to this record, that's probably the best song on it. And it is poppy, ladies and gentlemen. It's poppy. I don't know. Did they jump the shark? It's pretty darn commercial. And Night Ranger, I know I'm on a tangent. I get worked up. Night Ranger always has rode that line between commerciality and non. Because even on, first record, there's a commercial sense there, but it was just the perfect balance. This is too much. Yeah. Secret of My Success, best track, but also the most commercial. So what's that tell you? I don't know what it says. That's my number 10.
We're on those two albums a little bit later on.
Oh, they rank higher for you, sir. Okay. All right. Oh, this is gonna be great. I'm so looking forward to as we keep going.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, my number 11, Grant, if you could hold up 7 from 1998.
Sorry.
Eighth album. So again, it's called 7, but it's their 8th album because this whole the whole Mojo thing throws everything off, right? So the band didn't feel like Feeding Off the Mojo was really a Night Ranger album. And we could argue all day about whether it is or isn't. The name is on there, whatever. But here we have the original lineup all together again for the second album in a row. This one comes pretty hot close after Neverland. So it's like boom, boom, boom. They're just pumping out albums here. Sign of the Times, great opening rocker. Lyrics are kind of ridiculous, but that's okay. Panic and Jane reminds me of Extreme again. I'm hearing these extremisms in their catalog right around this time quite a bit. Kong is a good song. Sea of Love totally rocks. I find half this album really good, the other half kind of unmemorable. There they are, all hanging out, looking comfortable.
Group unity on this one, you notice. This signifies, hey, we're back.
We are back.
We're a group, right? Which gives you hope. So there you go.
There's good stuff on there. I think it's pretty good. I think the band are just kind of trying to figure out where they are now that they're back together. It's the late 90s. And I think that also you hear a little bit of this on my number 10, which is Neverland from 1997. So that is their actual.
I'll throw it up while I got it. There you go.
There we go. So again, this is the first album of the two where the original band is back together after a decade apart, right? Weird how it opens up with a ballad, Forever All Over Again. That's kind of strange for me, right? Because they have crankers that open up the album set, but it's a good one. It's a good song. Title track totally rocks. All those sweet hooks we like from the band are there. My Elusive Mind is real catchy. New York Time totally cranks. Walk in the Future is just big and soaring and lush. I love that. I think for me, overall, there's a few too many mellow tracks on here, but it's blended with some really good rockers. The production is good, and I think it really sounds like a Night Ranger album. That's the important thing. So after all this time away, first time out of the gate, okay, it sounds like Night Ranger. Again, my issue with a couple tracks notwithstanding, I think it's a good album. So that's my number 10.
That's good. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, my I guess where are we at? I'm on 10. We just did 9. Okay. No.
You're on 9. 9.
I'm on 9.
Yeah.
Pete, if I could count, that would make this show go.
It's hard sometimes, I know.
Okay. Well, my number 9 is Neverland. So we're kind of together, but no, we're not. 1997 came out on Sony. Night Ranger's back with the original band, like Pete said. The first new Night Ranger studio album since 1988's Man in Motion. Kinda. Because we're not counting it. Like you said, we're not counting Mojo, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
This is a Ron Nevison production. So, hey, they have a real producer.
Yeah.
You know, the production on here is calmed down. There's no 80s drums. That's good. Because, you know, we looked at these other records, they're still carrying over stuff from the previous decade. This has a much drier production and it's refreshing. Kickoff track, Forever All Over Again, is a nice ballad. Jack sounds great, you have to admit. Oh my God, that song. But shouldn't it be, like you said, shouldn't this be a rocker?
Yeah.
Leading it off? Who starts it off with a ballad? Right,
Yeah.
there is an indicator that there's a problem.
Yep.
Because if this is the best track, and I might say it might be the best track.
One of the better ones, yeah.
But it's catchy. It's a great Jack Blade song. It's what you expect. It is a song, because on some of those previous ones, we're looking for melody. We're looking for a hit of some sort, something that's memorable. You know, this goes back to it. The track Neverland is a strange one. It's hard rock guitar. But, you know, did you notice in that, Pete, on that interlude, that's kind of like that Beatle-esque type of psychedelic middle,
Like,
which is odd. If you notice, there's a lot of different special effects on this record, or just flourishes, or I don't know. I think it sounds good, but it's not typical Night Ranger. It's kind of out of the box. I don't know. I think Neverland's an okay track, but there's still something with the songwriting. It's not quite there, but that's okay. Hey, we're getting better. There's just lots of acoustic guitar on here. And you know what? I'm going to throw this out to you. Did you notice who's singing all the songs on this record? Jack. Yeah. Where's Kelly?
Yeah.
Was a part of the problem. They brought Jack in and they said, well, you know, I've done Damn Yankees. Shaw Blades is getting ready to come out. What year are we in? 97. So Shaw Blades came out in 95.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what they were trying to do is make Jack the star of the band. Or did he really want to be the star of the band? Because, you know, I mean,
was that part of the negotiation when he came back? I don't know.
Yeah, he was in high pro. I mean, Damn Yankees was a big band.
Big.
Right. So you have to wonder, it's like, all right, we need to get the name Night Ranger back out there again. We got to use, you know, everybody knows Jack Blades big time now. So it's not surprising, actually, when you think about it.
I know, but I miss those Kelly Kagi vocals.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's singing on it, but I want lead vocals.
Lead vocals, yeah.
He's the man. Jack's fine. He's writing all the songs. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's my number 9, but I just found it odd. It's still not traditional. They're back, but are they back? Sounds like the Jack Blades band to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm too harsh. Don't burn a cross in my yard. All right, that was number 9. What is number? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, my number 7.
8.
Yeah. You know, if you can keep my numbers together,
I'll be watching.
All right, so we're kind of flipping. My number 8 is 7.
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go.
Which doesn't make sense. 8, 7, 7, 8. First record for CMC International. They aren't trailblazing anything here. They're staying in their lane. Oh, I do want to mention this. Wasn't it nice to see Tommy Shaw on Don't Ask Me Why on here? Was that a Shaw Blades leftover? Was that a Damn Yankee song? It was great. Great song. Love Tommy. Tommy and Jack together. I love it. I love it.
I love Tommy's awesome. I mean,
Tommy's awesome. We should just do a Tommy. God, well, his solo albums are hit and miss, but that's a different thing. I really like this album. Sounds like the band is unified. Look, they're on the cover, like I mentioned before. This signals to me, we're back, we're ready. Great. This is what I want. Awesome. And I do think the songs are better. I think the songs on here are better than what's on Nevermind. Is it 1982 Night Ranger? No, but it does indicate that they're back. Sign of the Times from Jack, catchy, guitar blaring, good opener. Song is a Kelly song, Panic in June's Jack. I mean, it's all kind of, this is another one of those records. It's all kind of 60s influenced, you know? But it's nice that we've got Kelly singing on this. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It's more traditional than what the last record was. Kind of 60s influence. Don't ask me why is great. Night Ranger is back. That is my number 6.
7. Actually,
Or-
8.
What am I doing?
I don't know. You're going all over the place with the numbers. I'll keep you straight.
All right, this is 8.
Yes, that was 8.
I'm looking at, see, I get all works. Sorry, everybody.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. All right, my number 9.
Okay.
From 2017, Don't Let Up. 12th album, right? Yeah.
There you go.
So, for the most part, with the exception of ATBPO, I really like the latter period stuff. There they go. Looking good, little older, but certainly wiser.
Yeah.
Here you got Kerry Kelly joins Brad on co-lead guitars, so replaces Joel Hoekstra, who went off to join Whitesnake, right? So, because Joel was a good soldier for a couple of years and a number of albums. Yeah, exactly. Somehow, Some Way is a great opener. Kind of reminds me of these guys right here a little bit. It's got this kind of Journey flair to it, which I don't mind at all because I'm a big Journey fan. Running Out of Time kicks ass. Wild soloing from the new guitar duo here. There's a lot of good soloing on this album, as always. Say What You Want also rocks hard. Title track is really memorable. Jamie's a really good song. Couple of ballads that maybe some folks might think are a little on the bland side, but overall I think this is a keeper of an album. And again, who thought that Night Ranger would be releasing really strong albums this late in their career? They're another one of those many bands that we have who 40 years into their career all of a sudden are in this like late career renaissance where they're putting out a good amount of new music, and most of it's pretty damn good. I mean, so this is like, fair for a new one. It's almost in the middle of the pack here. I got others that are coming. So that's my number 9. My number 8, surprisingly, is going to be Feeding Off the Mojo, that weird album from 1995.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Grant. I agree with you 100%. Does it really sound like a Night Ranger album? Not really. Is it a good album? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's a good record.
It really is. I mean, so this is 7 years after Man in Motion, right? So the band was left for dead, and you got, basically, what's his name again? Gary Moon, Kelly, and Brad. Gary's got a great voice, right? Kelly sounds great on here. Good songs. Mojo is great. Last Chance is moody. Try is a good song. The Night Has a Way. Longest Days totally kicks ass. So Far Gone is really good. You know what this album reminds me of, Grant?
No.
I would listen to it couple times last week again, and I was like, it reminds me of River Dogs, the first River Dogs album with Vivian Campbell. It's got that kind of feel to it. It doesn't sound like Night Ranger.
No.
It's pretty heavy. It's lots of grooves, but the songs are still memorable. Guitar work is spectacular, and the vocals are really well done. So whether the band considers it a true Night Ranger album or not, I don't care. I think it's still a pretty good album.
The way you rank it, I would totally agree with that. I could easily slip it right in there. It's that good.
Yeah.
Don't read the reviews on it. Just take it for what it is.
Yeah.
You might have a preconception. Well, it doesn't have Jack Blades on it. I'm not going to listen to that.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. I swear to God, if you can find it.
It's a good rock album. It really is. So
well, we did that show I told you last night, and I threw Tim threw it up there. I threw the graphic up. Martin had never seen that record ever. In fact,
really?
The panel looked at it like they were blank. No one knows about that record at all.
Yeah.
It came out on a real small label. It didn't do the one I've got's a cutout.
I never listened to it when it came out. I don't even remember.
No one cared at that point.
Yeah. Well, it was 95, right? So who really gave a shit about stuff like this anyway?
Right.
Let alone the fact that it says Night Ranger on the cover. So yeah.
Well, hopefully, Pete, we can turn people onto it and go out and check it out. And well, you probably want to hear about that in the comments. In the comments, let us know if you have this record and what your thoughts on it. I'm totally interested to hear what you think about it.
I would really like to hear people who are like longtime Night Ranger fans. Do they consider it an actual Night Ranger album? Do you even like it? Right. So yeah.
Right. I agree. Yeah, it's great.
Back to you for number 7.
Okay, number 7. All right. Well, we're kind of coming back together. I'm going to go with Don't Let Me Up from 2017. This is one of those Frontiers records, other than Hole in the Sun. Even though that's Frontiers, but okay. But a lot of these Frontiers albums, you could take these, cut them all up, put them in a jug, shake them up, and you could they all sound the same.
They do. Yeah.
Now,
they do.
and that's not taking anything away from it. I wish they were much more distinguishable from each other, but they're really not. So basically, you could take them all together and reassemble them. But on this particular one, on these selection of songs, I'm going to put this at number 7. I think I like the other ones that came before a bit better than this, but that's fine. They sound like they're still having a blast. Don't you think when you listen to these records, the band, they just sound happy. Everybody's playing well. The guitars are blaring. It's a joy to listen to. Now, why I don't like this as much as the others, ladies and gentlemen, I really don't know. They're all very similar at this point, but I think
they're say the same thing because I got the other ones higher too. So
okay, but there are ones higher that certain selection of songs you listen to it and you go, yes, this is an 82, but this is we're close. So we will see that. So that's my number 7. My number
6.
My number what did I said? This is number 6. And the band played on from 2021. Now I'm rating it higher than Pete did, but you get this record. Think about it. We're in 2021. Night Ranger's still out on the road. They're still cranking albums. Look, a lot of these legacy acts hardly put any records. Night Ranger is prolific at this point in their career. 2021, and they're still doing it. Great cover art. I mean, they're still promoting the band. Frontiers does a great job with these legacy bands in, I don't know, as far as promotion, but the what do I want to say? The putting together the marketing and whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Because look how nice this is. Big old
packaging and all that kind of
packaging. Stuff. Yeah. They do a great job. So wait, thank God they're still playing. Night Ranger's producing this one with excellent results. Some of those other albums that they produce, not so good, but I think Night Ranger at this point, getting better. They're getting better. The twanginess didn't really bother me so much that Pete mentioned. I'm glad they're still around. It's not quite up to the standards of the 2011 album that we have not even gotten there yet. We will get there. We will get to 2011 here soon. Not up to those standards, but I'm glad that Night Ranger's here. I'm glad they're playing. I'm glad they're putting out music.
There you go. Well, for me, 2011, 2014 was really good for this band. And I'm going to start at my number 7 from 2014's High Road.
Okay.
The 11th album. This is a really good one, folks. Knock, Never Stop. Kind of a silly title, but a really good song. The title track is really good. Again, a really good Night Ranger album, or even a great Night Ranger album, should have a kick-ass song to start off, and High Road is a really, really good one. And here, this is Brad Gillis and Joel Hoekstra, who I think work really well together. I saw that lineup live. Joel is a really great guitar player. I love Brad's playing. I think Jack's vocals are as strong as ever on this album. I'm Coming Home is a real catchy rocker. Kelly sounds great on that one. X Generation, nice and heavy, but still containing those hooks that we want from this band.
Yep.
And I will say, this is always weird when this happens. If you buy like the Digipack Deluxe Edition, which has a DVD on it, comes with a couple bonus songs. Mountain Song is one of the bonus tracks, and it crushes. Absolutely kick-ass heavy song for Night Ranger. And I'm like, why would you leave that off this album? In any format? I just don't understand it. Anyway, this is a very strong late period album. I really like it a lot, but not as much as my number 6, which is Somewhere in California. This is good. This is, when I got this, so this is 2011. This was the first one I had heard in a while because I didn't listen to most of those 90s albums. And I was like, holy cow. Yeah, look at a great picture of the band.
Oh, yeah.
Growing Up in California is upbeat, fun, catchy, big guitars, big keyboards, great vocals. Wow, what a song. Lay It On Me, big hard rock with a weird little kind of like new wavy keyboard thing going on.
Yeah.
Bizarre, right? But it works, right? Really good. Bye Bye Baby, Not Tonight. Takes you back to the 80s. That should have been a huge hit for this band. Why they didn't promote that as a single. I mean, granted, I know it's way too late, but Bye Bye Baby, Not Tonight comes out in 84, big hit, totally big hit. Follow Your Heart, terrific melodic rocker, great guitar solos. No Time to Lose You is great. Live for Today, Rock and Roll Tonight. It's not a bad song on here. A couple ballads. Not all the ballads are amazing like the ones I mentioned, but overall, really, really strong album. And if you're going to investigate, and I'm sure Grant will probably agree, if you're going to investigate one of the latter period albums first, this is the one to do.
There's two. I think both of them almost go hand in hand.
I think so. Yeah, they're both really good.
In fact, on my ranking, I was trying to decide which one because both of them are very strong. I think they both deserve it. And I think you know where I'm going.
There you go.
All right.
What do you got?
Okay.
Number five.
See, now, damn it, you got to keep track. All right. Now, number 5 is Somewhere in California. And this is what I'm talking about. It was hard for me to make a decision, but I'm just pick one. Somewhere in California, 2011 Frontiers. I said this one. Oh, what a great record. Those guitars and those keyboards. It's a good balance. A Night Ranger, I want a good balance of keyboards and guitars. Night Ranger woke up on this album. What was it? Was it Jeff Watson? We got Jeff out. We got Joel in. Eric Levy's playing keyboards. Whatever. This combination right here is kick-ass, and this is a great record. Growing up in California, Kelly singing, opening rocker, great. And it's not loud. Do you know what I mean? Hole Around the Sun, just so loud, it just like killed me. This is a much better listening experience, a better production. Lay It On Me, great guitars, hard rocking. Night Ranger sound alive. Songwriting has improved on this album by leaps and bounds. They are still staying in their lane. They're not trying to change the world at this point. The record's very enjoyable. I would highly recommend this. Get yours today, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, love this record. In fact, I love the next one. It's really the same amount, but I have to rank them somewhere. Oh yeah, I do want to mention one thing. The song Follow Your Heart. The bass playing on there and the keyboards, big guitars. All I want to say is yes, sir. Great stuff. Great record. Great. Get it. Solid effort. My number 4 is High Roads from 2014. I could either one. This continues on from where Somewhere in California is. The band is kicking on all cylinders. It's the perfect blend of pop and hard rock. Perfect blend. Remember, we mentioned Midnight Madness. Perfect blend. They're back. They are back. Songwriting is here. The band sounds like they're enjoying it. And Brad Gillis on this record. No one really mentions how great a guitar player Brad is.
He's amazing. Yeah.
He is amazing. And when he plays his solos, you cannot mistake Brad. You cannot mistake him. Yeah. He's playing just like he's playing back in the day, and he digs it. Great record, great production. This isn't 1982 Night Ranger, but I think this is as close as we're going to get. But like I said, everyone, they're still out there. They're still playing. They're still putting out stuff. They may hit it again. This was great, but I do love this lineup. My number 4.
Yeah, and I think we should probably talk about that for a second. So is Joel Hoekstra, was he the secret weapon in this band to kind of get them back to doing what we love so much about this band? I'd argue yes. I think it was magical. Yeah.
It was obviously.
He also was the secret spice for Whitesnake as well. So I think something special about that guy.
And I'm not sure, someone in the comments might know, Pete, you might know what happened with Jeff Watson. Do you know what the background is with that?
I don't know.
Was he asked to go? Was he fired? Did they just make I don't know. Do we know?
There was some bad blood there that happened, and I'm not sure. I don't know the full story there. I'm sure other people will let us know. But yeah, there was some bad shit that happened there.
And I agree, Brad and Jeff as a duo with those dual leads and the way they played off each other, magic.
Yeah.
Magic. And no one mentions that so much. Maybe on one of your guitar shows, they might've mentioned it, but it's true. But I think what Joel brings to the band, it reinvigorated him. Just give me more of it.
Yep. I totally agree. There you
go.
All right. My number 5 and 4. Let's go with number 5.
I wonder what those would be.
Big Life, 1987.
Okay. I can hardly wait to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so you have to understand, Grant. I was buying these albums off the rack in the stores when they came out, so I was with my
I get it
very beginning. So I have a lot of history with these albums. This is the last one, Fitzgerald, for a while. I always kind of thought the cover was kind of cheesy, but kind of cool. It's very colorful.
Well, hey, no offense, but you can't get any more cheesier than that.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. Yeah.
Okay. So there
I'd
you
rather
go.
have this one any day. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, this album is really lacking any big hits like the ones that came before it, but I really like Big Life. I think The Secret to My Success is a great song. I just do.
It is, but it's not. Hey, I think I'm impressed you can rank it so high.
Sure it is. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's too pop. It's not Night Ranger. God, it's a pop song. Night Ranger isn't a pop group. Give me some Night Ranger.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's okay. I appreciate it. It's all good.
I think David Foster mellowed them out a little bit on here producing, but and that's I get
trying to maintain. We're trying to keep it. We want to play stadiums. We're trying to keep it, but they couldn't keep it.
I still like a lot of the songs on here. I think Color of Your Smile is great. Hearts Away is great. Rain Comes Crashing Down. All really strong songs. Yeah, it's poppy Night Ranger, but I still like it. I think it's really catchy. I still like my catchy Night Ranger. Do I wish it was a little more rocking? Yeah, but I still have a soft spot for it. As this album, which has even less big hits, but I don't care because it's more.
Okay. God, your pop side coming out today, Pete, is really making me uncomfortable, but I'll be okay.
So this is more of a hard rock record. And this is, right before, again, the cracks are already starting to happen here. Jack leaves the band shortly after this, goes forms Damn Yankees, but title track is a kick-ass rocker. I think Don't Start Thinking I'm Alone Tonight is a fantastic song, and that should have been huge. I never understood why that was not a massive hit like some of the other ones that came before it. Great song. Reason to Be is great. Halfway to the Sun is a great rocker. Right on You, just good guitar work all around. I like the production of this album. I think it's not as kind of lush as the one that I just talked about. I think this is one of their underrated albums in their discography, but I know the reason why a lot of people kind of discount this one, because it was at a weird period in their career when they're already falling out of favor with the general public, but I think it's pretty underrated. So that's my number 4.
Hey, I think that's great. I'm going to applaud you because we all hear stuff differently, everybody. I can look at this and I can look at that record and go, well, obviously this could kill that record, but what's okay. I'd love it. This is why we rank this stuff. It's so much fun. All right. Well, now we're getting down to it, Pete.
Yes.
I have to get my,
we know the 3.
I have to get prepared here. Okay. So my number 3 is 7 Wishes from 1985. This continues in the same vein as Midnight Madness. They're on to something.
Yeah.
This definitely is when the 80s drum sound starts to come in. If you listen to Midnight Madness, there's no 80s drum sound. It's not as dated. This is dated a bit more, but it's not unmanageable. Okay. It sounds great. We got, who is it? Paul Glasser, the producer this is his last record with them.
Yeah. He did all first 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a theory about that. I was going to mention it later, but I'm going to mention it here. I think he was that 6th member. I think he was the guy. He knew what to do with Night Ranger. Now, why he left, he was their Terry Brown. Make fun of me, you might want to. I do. I think there was magic with this combination. I would have liked to seen it go on, but we couldn't. It didn't happen. Don't know what happened, but it's more polished.
I don't know much about him. I don't remember hearing of.
He did. What did he do? Oh, it'll come to me. Brain problem. But anyway, things are really starting to get polished here. Is there record company involvement? We've got Sentimental Street, which is a clone of Sister Christian. But to be quite honest, I like Sentimental. I like that record. I like Sentimental. I can't say it, but I like SS better than the other song. But that's okay. Guitars are still predominant on here. The keys are more dominant. Yeah. Some people may like that. Some people won't. I don't really have a problem. But Brad Gillis and Jeff Watson on here, the guitars on this record, they're like a machine. Yeah. I'd say the best tracks for me, there's a lot of good tracks because the songwriting's still here. Like it's not quite as good as what came before, as we see that trend. 4 in the Morning is a classic Jack Blade song. Sentimental Street, Kelly's vocals on it. Anytime Kelly sings, I'm in. Okay, I'm in. This Boy Needs to Rock is Jack. That's classic Night Ranger. Yeah. Classic. Could have been on the first 2 records. Goodbye with Kelly is slow, but man, like I said, I'm a sucker for a good Kelly vocal. So that's my number three. My number two, God, I wonder what that would be. Is Midnight Madness, 1983. Not as consistent, but still one of the best. They're they are continuing. They are, I wouldn't say they're advancing. They're no Beatles, they're no Rolling Stones or anything. They do one thing good, and that's what they do. So they continue as they continued before. There are no new wave touches here. If we look on, we haven't got to this, but Dawn Patrol, there's a lot of new wave on here. You might not really think of it, but there's a lot of new wavy keyboards on this record, which I love. And they, like you said, they brought that back to some degree, but now I can't remember what record, but they did kind of bring it back, and it was very refreshing. Biggest hit, Sister Christian. Okay, but I'm going to throw this out to you. While this was their commercial breakthrough, no doubt, this changed Night Ranger forever. Do you consider that a blessing or a curse? Because once they had that big hit,
that's all the record company wanted after that.
That's all the record company wanted. We never got another one of these. We never got another Dawn Patrol. Well, later. It's like the Cheap Trick scenario. Once they got off of Epic and Epic wasn't controlling them, and they put out the Red Ant album, 97, it's like a rebirth. When they hit Frontier, they really had a rebirth. Let's be honest. But do you think Sister Christian was a blessing or a curse? I'm just throwing it out to you.
Well, I mean, it's like the same situation like with Extreme with More Than Words, right? So here you have this pop ballad, which maybe isn't indicative of what they normally do. Everybody loves it, including people who really don't really like this kind of rock music. And then people go by, they listen to the rest of the album, like, oh, that doesn't sound like Sister Christian. They go by, maybe buy the next album. It's like, oh, there's no Sister Christian on there.
I think it was a curse.
It's a curse, right? It is. It's like, you're glad you're getting that success. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure the band loves the fact that they scored big with Sister Christian.
Yeah.
But then you always have to come up with the next Sister Christian, and that doesn't usually happen.
And it seemed like after this, they're always struggling to find it, because the record company, Sister Christian was big song. You couldn't escape it. You remember? Yeah. Couldn't escape it. It's a curse for a lot of these bands, but I still like Sister Christian. If it comes on the radio, I don't turn it off.
No,
it's a great song. Yeah. So Sister Christian, you can still rock in America, which they later didn't, but they still rocked here. Love it. Why Does Love Have to Change? Oh, great Kelly vocal. Oh my God. Very Van Halen influence. Actually kind of Randy Rhoads guitar on that, but it's poppy 80s. It's weird, but Kelly is such a great singer, and I keep saying that over and over. When You Close Your Eyes, Kelly and Jack vocal, classic Night Ranger, classic, perfection. And it's aged well. This album's aged well. It's a great record. A lot of this you could put on the Greatest Hits album, and they did. So
they did, yeah.
That would be my number two.
There you go.
I'm sorry, we've almost went an hour. I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm also very excited, Pete. So you have to.
I knew we were going to go an hour. That's generally for a catalog like this. That's hour minimum usually, so that's fine. Especially if I have a co-host, right? If it's just me, I just blaze through it in a half hour. But yeah, no.
I know. Yeah, I get it.
So not surprisingly, Seven Wishes is my number three as well. Another platinum seller by the band.
Is that the wait? Whoa! What is that? The which version is that?
The remastered version from BGO.
BGO. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Does it look drastically different than yours?
Well, that spine part.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if that was the rock candy one or that.
That's the typical BGO spine.
Okay, all right.
Great.
Go.
Pat's producing again. Fantastic. I mean, title track, another great opener. So good. The rest of side one of the original album, Faces, is great. 4 in the Morning is a terrific song. I Need a Woman, terrific. Sentimental Street, that's great.
Terrific. It's
I agree
terrific.
With you. I like it better than Sister Christian too. Maybe
because
Sister Christian is just so like, we've heard it a million times, but man, Sentimental Street, so good. I remember the video for that. I was like, and the guitar on that, the guitar riff on it, it's just so
it's truly great. Magic.
This Boy Needs to Rock is great. I Will Follow You is great. Interstate Love Affair is great. Night Machine is great. And I will tell you, Goodbye is
it's great.
Notch. Goodbye.
It is. You're right.
Goodbye was kind of a hit, but that should have been enormous for them. To me, Goodbye should have been their Sister Christian on this album. That or Sentimental Street. I think this is a really, really strong album, top to bottom. I considered ranking this higher because that's how much I like this album. But
well, let me ask real quick. I'm sorry, I can't stop talking. Do you remember, did this rank higher? Was Midnight Madness more successful than this, or did this sell just as much?
yes, well, this one was platinum. I think Midnight Madness.
Did it go double?
I don't know if it went to, they might have both been platinum.
Where's Martin that he could bring this up?
Yeah,
because he's usually bringing that up like that. We need Martin.
The first three albums all went platinum. I do know that, but I don't know.
Okay, all right.
The most sales, but I mean, their momentum was really going. I mean, they were playing big venues, and you know, if they were opening up, they were opening up for big bands. But they were playing, you know, like 3,000-4,000 seat halls and things like that easily at this time. So, but I almost had this at number 2, but you know, Midnight Madness had to be there. And this is close to being my number 1 because this is so good. I mean, come on, Sidewalk, You Can Still Rock in America kicks ass. Rumors in the Air, one of my favorite Night Ranger songs. Love it. Why Does Love Have to Change? Awesome. Sister Christian, big hit. Touch of Madness, crushes. Passion Play is great. When You Close Your Eyes.
Yeah.
To me, When You Close Your Eyes should have, that was a pretty big hit too. I think that's a better hit, or it's a better song than Sister Christian. I know why.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
I love When You Close Your Eyes. I think it's just great. What a chorus on that, man. It's just so memorable. And then you got Chipping Away and Let Him Run, which are great deep cuts. So, yeah, and I love the production of this album.
Yeah.
I would argue this is probably the best sounding album in their catalog.
Oh, it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
And again, what I like about it, doesn't have that 80s tinge yet. No. Well, it does, but not the drums. You know how the drums date all these 80s productions? This is pre that. So it is aged well.
Yeah. And you know, one thing about this band too, and I'll especially say it about the first 2 albums, as someone who was, you know, of age when these were all coming out, buying them, and all the folks who were into like guitar oriented music, like metal and hard rock, even though this band was a little lighter than all the Metallicas and the Van Halens and the Judas Priest and Scorpions and all those other bands, all the rocker dudes that I knew growing up loved this band because the guitar playing was just
it was on fire.
Yeah. So even though there's a lot of ballads here, everybody always dug Night Ranger because Brad Gillis and Jeff Watson, they're amazing, right?
They were amazing. Yeah. And, you know, when they were getting along, they really got along well. Because the guitars on these records are just... And I'm just surprised people don't mention it as much anymore. Maybe it's because they keep thinking they're stereotyped in that whole Sister Christian thing. And it's not fair. The guitars in the Night Ranger catalog have always been there.
Yeah.
And even you listen to the later ones, Brad Gillis is a machine.
Yeah.
A machine.
He's more than just a whammy bar guy, man. I'm telling you.
But he still uses it. And he's the only guy that uses it like that. You know,
yes, he does.
He said, "Oh, well, that's Brad Gillis." If anybody's watching this, you know what we mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're a guitar player, you know.
Well, no surprise, our number 1, right?
Number 1. I guess we could present together.
Yes.
All right, number 1.
Here we go.
Dawn Patrol. Hey, I do have a question. You remember the whole thing with Night Ranger? You remember they were really originally called Ranger?
Yeah.
They evidently had pressed album covers that just said Ranger. Now, I've done a search because I would have thought something might have escaped the factory. Have you ever seen the logo without Ranger on it? I mean, without Night?
No.
Evidently, there are album covers that exist. I got on Discogs to look. None on there. But yeah, they were originally called Ranger.
I remember when this album came out, there was talk of how the album was supposed to come out like a few months before, but they had to suck them all back in because they had to change the name.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't give a shit at the time because I didn't know who they were. I just, you know, they were playing Don't Tell Me You Love Me on the radio. I'm like, I got to have it.
Oh, right? But I will have to admit, this is I can't say it's pop metal, but a lot of people put this in with pop metal.
Yeah.
It's more hard rock pop. Yeah. You know, almost power pop. You tweak this a bit, you'd have a power pop band. The songs were that strong. Guitars shine on this record. Jeff and Brad, we've mentioned that before. They're a perfect blend. They're perfect together. Great songwriting and production from Paul Glasser. They're Terry Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
and he was gone. And after 1987, things were never the same. My favorite tracks, "Don't Tell Me You Love Me" from Jack. Oh my God, what a way to open a record.
Yeah.
"Sing Me Away." Oh,
Best song on the album.
best song on the album. "At Night She Sleeps." There's a lot of Kelly vocals on here.
Yeah.
You can tell I'm a big Kelly fanboy, ladies and gentlemen. "Young Girl in Love," great. "Call My Name," great. The whole damn album's great.
Eddie's
I don't
coming
have to
out
go through
tonight,
it.
man. Night Ranger. It's all good.
It's all good. 5-star, 10-star.
Yeah.
They never achieve this ever again. Never.
Not
This, when
quite.
I think of Night Ranger, I think "Don't Tell Me You Love Me" is quintessential. This is, in my brain, that's what Night Ranger is. Everything else is like a variation. This is a perfect record.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the first three albums are just must.
Right.
If you're watching this show and you don't have any Night Ranger, just go buy the first three albums right off the bat, because that will tell you everything you need to know about Night Ranger, and then go check out some of these latter period albums, because I mean, I rank Man in Motion and Big Life fairly high, but I think that for someone new,
That's how you look at it.
yeah, the new stuff is really good.
I would look, me personally, I agree with Pete 100%. Only I disagree on those Big Life and all. I go get some of those Frontier CDs, because the band now, especially the ones with Joel, get those. It was just magical.
Yeah,
They were getting back into it. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, those 2 or 3 albums are really, really strong there. So
yeah, don't write Night Ranger off yet. Hey, they still may do it.
Yeah,
these guys are that good. So.
And they're really good live. If they come to your town, go see them play. They're still really good. They play all the hits. They dabble in some newer tracks, but all the songs you want to hear, they play, and they still sound great live. And Jack and Kelly both still sing really, really well, and the guitars are blazing. So it's really all you need. So for everybody watching, you know how it works here. Rank these as you like them, in the order that you like them, down in the comments below. If you're someone like Mr. Gary Joyce, I'm going to single you out. I know you've been busy listening and ranking.
Gary Joyce. Yeah.
Curious to see, Gary, how you rank these, and everybody else who's been doing your homework for the last couple of weeks since we announced this. Down in the comments below, put them in the order you like them. And like I said, if you've never listened to this catalog before or this band, I think you've got some good ammunition right now to go out and find those albums that you should probably start your Night Ranger journey with. So.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. Grant, why don't you
give
us some plugs for stuff going on your two
channels? Well, the thing, the Contrarians, we're always pumping out content. Well, I'm always pumping out content on my show. Last night I had Larry Graves and Monty Mallon on my show. We looked at the band Sparks. We looked at those Island albums in the 70s. That was a fun discussion. Contrarians, we just did, we had the show air last night about those Outlier albums, which all tied into today. And like I said, Martin had never heard of that Mojo record. I'm just saying, Martin Popoff.
Yeah.
But anyway, that just aired. Wednesdays at 7, we do a live chat, and we keep getting more and more people into the chat every Wednesday. The topic, I'm not sure if we've determined. I think we have. I think we're doing back album doppelgangers. I have not prepared for it. It's hard for me to do. But we're doing yet another doppelganger show. So that's going to be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time or Standard Time, whatever we're on. I think the clocks change here. I'm not sure. But
is that this weekend?
I don't know. I saw a post about it. Maybe it is tomorrow. I don't know. So anyway, stay tuned. There's always more content coming out.
Cool. A show on Sparks. That's pretty cool. That's a weird band.
Weird. But we're going to do a series on it. So what we're going to do is we did the Island stuff. Stephen Schnee's going to come on the 80s one. We've got a lot more people that are going to be in the 80s, because a lot of people like the 80s stuff better than the 70s stuff. I think the 70s, the Island period, is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
But they're very eclectic. It's not something, but we're trying to turn people on to stuff on my channel. So
they have their fans. I've had lots of people here on SOT ask to do content on Sparks, and I have most, if not all, of those Island albums. I don't listen to them all that often. I'm like, that's one of those bands. I'm like, I have them, I play them occasionally, and I'm always kind of like, yeah, this is kind of odd. I kind of like it. I don't love it. They're one of those bands that I like, but I don't.
Yeah.
So they're not a regular listen.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah. And what are they like?
I don't know.
Pop?
They morph, because look at the 80s stuff. You've got that Cool Places they did with Jane Weedland. That is total new wave.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But then one record they're doing a disco record. I mean, you can't really categorize Sparks.
Yeah.
They're always changing and morphing, but they're still out there. I think they're touring right now, maybe, and they just put out a record. They're still putting out stuff.
They've got like what, 55 albums, I think it's
Probably at this point. I don't have all of them. I'm going to have to really study if this is going to become a series. So we'll see.
Oh boy.
A lot. Well, I'm
Good luck.
game. Thank you.
That's the thing. Got to have a positive attitude about these things and just dive.
Oh, I love it. Well, the whole thing about doing these shows is to listen to these bands. Hopefully you get turned on to stuff. That's all I want to do. And people always say, Grant, why are you listening to all this new stuff? I'm going, well, there's a lot of old stuff that I still need to catch up to. But
yeah, there's always going to be that.
There's always stuff, but it's fun. It's good time.
Cool. So go investigate Grant over on Rock Warehouse and the Contrarians, and we'll see you back here a week from today. God, what do we have coming up next week? I don't know 100% yet. I know coming up, Rick Labonte and I will be ranking the Guess Who albums. We're going to top 10 of the Guess Who. So that's coming up soon. I am also going to be working on, where is my stuff here? I don't know. There's all sorts of other bands that are ready and waiting for ranking. I have a whole list of stuff, so I just got to look at the schedule. But
you mentioned Guess Who real quick before we wrap up. Have you heard the new Guess Who album? Did you do a review on that? I think someone said I didn't. I missed that, but it's supposed to be great.
It's really good. Does it sound like classic Guess Who? No, but it's really good. It's kind of like a power pop album.
Someone else said that.
Yeah.
And they said it's a must if you're like power pop.
It's really catchy. Yeah, it's really good. I would recommend it. Again, a lot of people are having an issue because it's called the Guess Who, because the drummer's the only original guy left. But it's a good album. It's really good songs, really memorable. So if you just kind of take the whole name of the band off the album and just listen to it on its own merits, it's very, very good. So cool. Whatever. But yeah, check it out. You'll like it. It's really good.
All right, we'll do.
Cool. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below in the video description, you got all sorts of places you can go visit. And thanks for all your support there. And for Grant Arthur, I'm Pete Pardo. Enjoy the rest of your weekend celebrations. Listen to some Night Ranger, and we'll see you next time here on Ranking the Albums. Take care.
I have no idea why it does that. See you, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.